You know, I just wish I could make everyone's life easier. My heart is broken for the amount of people who are just stressed out and down on themselves. But at the same time, I'm not someone who necessarily thinks life is better if it's easier. I mean, there's so much beauty that comes from perseverance through suffering. All the best stories in the world have conflict. Seeing a person complete a marathon is a great celebration, but seeing that double amputee cross the finish line, that moves people to tears. There's so much information in our world right now. Man, it's overwhelming. I always found it interesting in school when I would read philosophy that it seemed like all the greatest philosophers claimed that the more they learned, the less they knew. Solomon, the supposed wisest man in the world, says, "For with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief." If I could come up with a theory as to one factor of why everyone is seemingly so overwhelmed and stressed right now, it's because we've never had more information readily available at our fingertips, as we do right now. I think we have the illusion that the answers are out there for us, but when we actually seek them out, we realize our biggest questions are still unanswered. I have some chronic health issues. I've been dealing with them for a long time, and I'm a researcher. I love to learn. The more I Google and try to find solutions for my health, the more discouraged I get. There's so much information out there, but it seems like every year people go back and forth on what they thought was actually right and good. So this brings me to the question: how okay am I with being uncomfortable? How okay am I with being unsettled? I really like to glean my life lessons from those repeated sentiments that people leave out there, such as the best deep thinkers of the world claiming that the more they learned, the less they knew. What does this tell me? Well, I can't get all of my questions answered. Okay, but what do I do with that insight? Well, I think if I could learn to be at peace with the idea that I know way less than I think I do, I might actually enjoy the moment a little bit more. I might be a little less hard on myself for not nailing this thing called life every single time. I think that thought makes verses like, "I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble. But take heart, I have overcome the world. And therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. And do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." I think that makes those verses make a whole lot more sense. It's almost like we're just really not supposed to worry about these things. Isn't it funny to think about the fact that everyone on this whole earth is experiencing life for the first time? When I consider that thought, it opens up a space of compassion and grace in my heart for others and myself. I mean, we're all doing this thing for the first time. And yes, it's our due diligence to do the best we can to grow from learned experience. There is responsibility in this life, and yeah, some of us consistently make bad choices. But everyone really is just doing this for the first time. And you can call me naive for wanting to extend grace for someone who you think should really know better at this point in life. But sometimes, just sometimes, it doesn't hurt to choose a more positive perspective. I've learned that gratitude, joy, and the way I think is a choice. I can choose how I react to this life. So, for today, I'm going to choose to be okay with the fact that life is complex. I'm going to come to peace with the fact that I don't have the ability to solve everyone's problems. I'm going to choose a positive, grateful, and hopeful perspective because life is honestly a lot more enjoyable that way. I'm going to love others around me the best I can. I'm going to trust that Jesus really is the only one who has it all figured out. I mean, the more I live life, even at my short 27 years, His way of grace and mercy and forgiveness and joy and peace sure seems way more appealing than everything else I can find out there. So Lord, help me to actually do this, to actually remember this, to actually love those around me and live a life that brings more blessing than anything else. I don't know what I'm doing, and I never fully will figure it out, but I trust that you'll help me. So thank you for loving all of us. I pray for the person watching this video. You know what they need, Father. And thanks for this incredible world you've created. Help us to learn how to enjoy it.